Hey guys, Flip Otaku, back with another video. This time we're doing the January tag questions from aMesheOHJ. Shout out to him for this. So yeah, I just hit 100 subs, and to celebrate, I'm gonna be putting out a video every single day, starting probably Friday. I just want to say thank you to everybody. 100 isn't that much, but it's just cool that 100 people like me enough to watch my videos. So first question is, what manga characters represent you and remind you of yourself? Uh, this is a tough question. Cause there's like my favorite character is Guts, and I do kind of see a little bit of myself in Guts. Especially when I was like working out all the time. I was reading Berserk a lot. I was watching the anime, and Guts inspired me to train harder, go harder. Um, but then there's a lot of things that Guts does that I don't align myself with. So, but yeah, anytime I love a series, I find myself like seeing a little bit of myself in a character that I love. Whether it be Vagabond or My Hero Academia or Fire Force or Vinland Saga or Slam Dunk or any of these series. I always see myself, or I kind of relate to the characters a little bit. So that's a very tough question. Actually, my wife and I were just watching Baki the Grappler on Netflix, which I highly recommend you guys doing. That show kicks ass, and she said one of the characters reminded me of her, but he quickly died. So don't know how I feel about that. Question 2: hypothetically, if all the manga went digital tomorrow, what would you do? Um, so I'm weird when it comes to physical versus digital media. Video games, I have no problem with them being digital unless I could get like a collector's edition or something. But with my manga, with my books, and my anime, I like to have it physical. I like to have it in my hands. Same with, I just started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Again in the Dragon Ball Super card game. I tried online TCGs, can't get into it. Uh, but I do read a few series that are only available in Japan, like Kingdom, Zetman, which I highly recommend. That is such an underrated manga. 20 volumes. You guys should check that out. Kingdom, A Trail of Blood by Shuzo Oshimi. The same manga as Happiness and Flowers of Evil. That's ongoing. It's pretty good. There's only a couple series that I read online, but if it went all digital, I would probably have to just adapt. Manga is my favorite form of entertainment. Uh, I love JRPGs and I love anime, but there's just nothing. There's something special about getting your manga in your hands and you're sitting back and you're just enjoying it. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I still haven't checked out the new Shonen Jump app just because I don't like digital that much. Number 3, there's a war of the publishers. What 3 to 5 points would you use to argue for your favorite? Now, my favorite publisher is kind of hated by a lot of manga people, and I understand their hate, but my favorite publisher is Dark Horse. Um, the titles that they have are some of my all-time favorite books. Berserk, you got Gantz, you got Trigun. Um, what else do they got? They got a bunch of stuff. They even put out some manhwa. They put out Shaman Warrior, Banya, Eden Its Endless World, even though they did drop that. Hellsing, um, all the Clamp stuff that they're doing, Blade of the Immortal. If I made a list of like top 20 favorite manga, Dark Horse would have the majority of titles on that list. With 3 to 5 points, would you argue for them? Now it's hard to argue for them. So, one, when they do a good release, they do a very nice release. They have the Berserk hardcovers coming out. I don't know the quality of those yet. Hopefully, fingers crossed that they are great. Their Planet Test books, their Blade of the Immortals omnibuses are solid books. I like them. What else? The titles that they pick, they have a very... You can put Dark Horse's books in like their own separate category. They have their own flavor. Like with Seven Seas, they'll put out stuff like Devilman, Cutie Honey, or Captain Harlock, which I loved, but then they go and they have a lot of Monster Girl stuff, and that's not my thing. So, I like how Dark Horse has, like, anytime that they announce a manga, I look at it. Like, they announced Mob Psycho 100, even though I've already seen the anime. I'm gonna grab the book. I just, that's another great addition to their library. Another point, they tend to, when they get a mangaka on their roster, they tend to, like, pump out a couple books or a couple series from them and bring them over. So, like, with Hellsing, you got Drifters, Trigun, you got Battle Blockade Battlefront, Berserk, you got Gigantomaxia. With Eden, It's an Endless World, I don't know the title of the books. I don't have them. There are two of my whales. But that mangaka I love, and he has two other books that are out in English from Dark Horse. Their Clamp stuff has been awesome. What else would I argue? I think that was three. It's because every time I say something like, "Oh, I love Eden, It's an Endless World," you can just be like, "Yeah, but they canceled it or they dropped it." I know Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service because I did some background, like, checking into that, and the French publisher, I believe, had the same problems as Dark Horse, so I think it's just a licensing issue why they dropped it, but they shouldn't have dropped it. Or they shouldn't have dropped Eden, and I messaged them on Facebook because the Psycho-Pass manga only has 2 books left in its run, and they're on book 4. There's no solicit for book 5, and their message back was there is more planned, so fingers crossed. What shelf in all of your bookcases is your favorite? Show it off and explain. So this is super tough because each shelf has a series that I adore. I couldn't fit all my favorites on one bookshelf, so it's a tie between the bookshelf that's right behind the camera, which is the shelf that contains Vagabond, Berserk, Vinland Saga, Blade of the Immortal. But then it also has, like, some of my favorite shonen, like Slam Dunk, Rurouni Kenshin, Soul Eater, My Hero Academia, Fire Force, Twin Star Exorcist. Also has, the Seven Seas Classic Collection up there, Planet Test, Promised Neverland. So that's one of my favorite shelves. It's also kind of like my ongoing shonen shelf too. Like, there's a whole row that's just ongoing series. And then over there is the top part of that shelf is all Osamu Tezuka stuff, which is, Phoenix and Buddha and Message to Adolf and all that stuff, and 20th Century Boys, and then my Inio Asano section, and my Ultimate Muscle, which is, man, it's such a good series. Tokyo Ghoul, and Eden, It's an Endless World. So it's a tie between those two. One there and one there. What is the worst manga title in your opinion? Now with 3 points to defend that is good. So when I got back into manga from when I was a kid, a friend of mine was a huge Fairy Tail fan. So I luckily didn't buy any of the books. He let me borrow, like, the first 6 books. And it sucked. I read one book. I didn't even finish the other ones. Hated it. Absolutely hated it. No offense if you like that stuff. Like, I'm not the type of person to just trash someone's opinion if they like a certain manga or if they like a certain anime or something, but it just wasn't for me. And 3 points to defend it. It's Hiro Mashima. He's a god. He's the best. He's the best manga of all time. He made Rave Master. That's awesome. It looks like a cross between Dragon Quest and One Piece, which are 2 awesome series. So how could it not be good? And third point, it's got magic. And magic's pretty cool. Question 6. What have you enjoyed most and least about MangaTube? So I've watched for years, Mr. Steal Your Senpai, Insidious Swede, Near Mint Collectibles, and just, as, like, even before I really started collecting manga hardcore, I still watch their hauls, and I would watch, Lotus and old Shaman and Gear Third Manga and Apollo. And then when I got into it, I got people like Jing Graves. Uh, Bizarre Individual is awesome. I love that guy. We've been talking on Facebook. He's awesome. Otaku Mike, aMesheOHJ. I'm sure I'm missing a few people, but everyone's so cool. Like, everyone's just so nice. And, I'm in the Midwest. I'm a dad. I'm married. And seeing people like Otaku Mike, who's, kind of in the same situation. Like, he's married, he has a kid. And we both share the same passion. Because, like, when you meet someone and they're like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I read comics. You have to say comics to, simplify it. And they're like, okay. But it's cool, and everyone's so loving and welcoming. Bizarre Individual and Jing Graves, super nice people. Everyone's nice. Otaku Mike's nice. I really like Otaku Mike's personality. aMesheOHJ is awesome. I could just go on and on about everyone in this little community. The fact that I got 100 subscribers in a couple weeks, and people just messaging me and saying, hey, what's your favorite series? Like, how'd you do this? Blah, blah, blah. It's awesome. I love this group of people. Hopefully one day I can meet some of them, hang out with them, share some manga with them. Bizarre Individual did talk me into getting Rig Veda. I believe it's how you pronounce it. It's spelled RG Vita. So I'm excited to read that. We're going to do like a readathon together. It's just a cool, welcoming, awesome place. And the last question, what is one anime where the manga is better and vice versa? Oh, wow. Where the manga is better and vice versa. Okay, so the first one that instantly popped in mind, Twin Star Exorcist. Saw the anime and hated it. Was just like, what the hell is this crap? And I was going to give the manga a complete pass, but I decided to pick it up. And first volume I was like, but my rule of thumb is usually 3 volumes, except for with Fairy Tail. But I usually give a series 3 volumes, and by the 3rd volume I was hooked. And I'm so happy that I did that, because Twin Star Exorcist, when I'm reading it, I'm like, dude, nobody knows. Like, nobody talks about this series. It had it's, there's parts of it that are cliche. And the other thing that I love about it is that it's getting super violent and, like, super dark. There's a couple manga tubers that always talk about, like, I've heard someone, I'm not going to name who, but they were kind of shitting on Twin Star. That it's unoriginal, it's boring, and it's like, not everything has to be original. Like, nothing, not everything, something can be a standard by, like, standard structure of shonen, but be like, My Hero Academia is a perfect example of that. Great manga, and now people are kind of shitting on it and hating on it, saying it's just another shonen. It's a very well done shonen. There's not been one volume that I have not liked about that entire series. But yeah, so my rambling, Twin Star, highly recommend checking that out. The manga, not the anime. And now vice versa. Vice versa. I'm trying to, I'm looking around, looking at my anime. What is better than the manga? Or what anime is better than... This one's kind of a cheat. Devilman Crybaby is a retelling of that story and those characters. The original book can be hard to read for some. It's a very Monster of the Week sort of pace, and the art style may be too old for some people. So I would say that. Yeah, I think, you know what, I think that's my answer. Um, Attack on Titan might be for some people who can't get into the artwork of the manga, even though the manga is hitting. Even though, to be fair, the anime hasn't animated this part yet, but the manga is getting super good. So, but yeah, that was the end of the questions. If you have any other questions, I might make a second video. Just leave them below. Thank you guys for watching and continuing, you know, leaving comments and liking my videos. Hope everyone has a good day, and I'll see you starting Friday. A video every single day. I got some manga recommendations coming up. I got a review coming up. And I started working on manga versus movie. So first one's going to be Ichi the Killer. I was going to do Old Boy first, but Old Boy is too... it's a lot more complex compared to Ichi. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much. Have a good one.